Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm back at Best Bins. I was given a call about a piece that was pulled from a dumpster. And this is it. This is a 4-drawer mid-century style chest of drawers, walnut veneer, Canadian made. At first glance, the obvious issues are with the finish. There's areas where it's missing, scratched, the hardware is broken and incomplete, but inside the piece is where it really gets interesting. All of this white stuff, it's not powder, this is wax, as in handle wax. We've got some mouse poop in here as well. Now, something that's important to keep in mind, because, a lot of us like pulling things out of the trash, keeping it out of landfills, but sometimes there is a reason that something is thrown away. Looking at this back crack here, how it's all dirty and a little bit stained, this is often where bed bugs like to hide, and you'll sometimes see their excrement there. No worry of that here, it's just mouse poop, but just something to keep in mind. Make sure you check pieces that you pull out of the dumpster really well. Let's get into this flip. My name is Angie and I refinish furniture. Sometimes I paint and sometimes I don't, but I always do what I can to save old pieces from the trash. Welcome to my workroom. Now, almost everybody knows that old trick for dealing with a piece of furniture with the sticky drawers, and that is to rub a little bit of either bar soap or candle wax along the rails, and it's supposed to, in theory, help it slide better. When you get to a point where you need this much wax, you need a repair. You don't need to add more wax. This is the most I've ever seen on a piece, and it's probably why this ended up in the dump. This piece has solid wood drawers, except for the back panel, which is plywood. And the two side panels of the carcass itself are solid wood with veneer. And what seems to have happened here, because we live in Nova Scotia where there's wild swings in humidity throughout the seasons, my guess is that these would get super stiff in the summer and, work normally in the winter. But it clearly got to a point where they just weren't sliding at all. So someone's last resort was all of this wax, and clearly it didn't work. So it got stuck in a shed or a basement, which is where the mouse poop happened. And then finally someone said, just throw it out. I did notice something a little odd with the drawer guides. There's 3 holes here at the back, and normally with these mid-century pieces, especially Canadian made, I see it all the time, they would have had those plastic guides on the back. So it's kind of odd to see a wooden guide with a plastic guide. I don't know if the wooden ones were added later on to try to mitigate some shift in the drawer. I don't know. This is a bit of a mystery. The majority of the time spent on this project was simply cleaning it, and it's tricky for a number of reasons. First of all, I could only scrape so much of the wax off. I didn't want to use something that would dissolve the wax because there was the risk of spreading it even further, but sanding it off is a bit of a risk as well. It heats up and can melt the wax. So it was a bit tricky to kind of get all this done. It did work out pretty well though with the sanding. I just had to change my sanding pads a lot more often than normal. Going back for a second to what I said earlier about bed bugs loving to hide in cracks and being able to see their excrement, it looks a lot like this, but this is actually from rust. But that same sort of blackish stain, that tends to be what it looks like. Since bed bugs feed on blood, it kind of makes sense that it would look similar to rust stains. Again, no bugs on this one, I just wanted to point that out. So a lot of these staples were rusty, as I mentioned, so any that were loose or rusted I pulled out because I am going to be restapling the bottom to make it more secure. I'm not sure yet what I want to do regarding these drawer slides. Now, I was considering remaking them, but seeing as this piece already tends to be prone to a lot of swelling with the humidity, I may just stick to the plastic guides that this would have come with originally. The plastic guides keep it on the track, but they allow for a little bit of movement left and right. So unless you're dealing with something that is really well made and properly fitted, which is probably not the case with these mass-produced ones, wooden guides aren't always the best in places with a lot of humidity. Because this little section is more indent than chip, I'm actually going to add a little bit of water and use a hot solder iron to try and steam the wood fibers back up to level. This usually works pretty well on solid wood, so I'm hopeful that I can move this up slightly. I opted to sand down the wooden handles using my SurfPrep, mainly just to save time. I could have done this by hand, but I'm pretty good with manipulating this thing and being able to preserve the profile and curves on things like handles. Making sure, of course, to label each one so that I know exactly which drawer it belongs to. So there's something interesting about this drawer. This one was actually on the bottom when it came to me, but I know that that is not where it belongs. And the hardware is broken, but I have a solution for that. I'm popping the screws into a bath of Evaporust just to remove any of the rust from them before I put them back on the piece. And now that the drawers themselves are cleaned up, I can move on to the main part of this cabinet. Now, initially I thought I was going to have to replace these. They looked so rough, but once I took them out and started to clean them off, I realized that they were actually in pretty good shape. They just really needed to be cleaned up. This bottom panel, however, is definitely getting replaced, and I'm actually going to be replacing the back panel as well. That is where a lot of smell tends to infiltrate and hang on in some of these older pieces, especially if they're kept in a damp area like a shed or basement. Sometimes you clean a piece up really well, refinish it inside and out, and you still can't get rid of the smell. Often it's in those panels, and a quick replacement, it's pretty cheap to do, especially if you use hardboard or a thin plywood to replace those panels. It can really make a big difference in the smell of a piece. So I want to talk for a second about mid-century pieces and how they are finished, depending on where they're made, of course. The most common finish on these is lacquer, and they would have used multiple layers, they would have used glazes, sometimes toners. The goal with using all of those products together is to try to get a uniform color. The vast majority of these pieces are veneer, and you can have such a wide range of colors and grain patterns in veneer that these manufacturers would try to camouflage that and try to make it look like it all came from the same tree, the same boards. And on pieces that are historically important, and let me just state right now, not every mid-century piece is historically important. There's a whole army out there of people who lose their marbles over people refinishing mid-century pieces, not understanding that a lot of these are department store quality, mass-produced pieces, not high-end. That said, high-end pieces, I try to keep the finish true to its original look, and y'all have seen videos where I've done that. But me personally, as a lover of walnut wood grain and all of the variety in color and tone and character, I love just a natural finish on it. So on pieces like this that aren't super high end and may have some interesting figure, like on this one, there's a really cool figure on the top. This is the type of piece that I like to put a natural finish on, and I'm going to be using Odie's oil on it. So now I have replaced the back panel and the bottom panel. The insides are clean and sanded, and now I'm just re-adding these wooden runners. These just have a bit of glue at the back and a screw in the front, and it looks like someone at some point added nails in the front as well next to the screw. That wouldn't have been an original thing. I'm not re-adding it. Someone likely did it to try to sort out whatever was going on with the drawers, unsuccessfully. So all 4 drawers have these 3 holes in the back, and it fits exactly with one of these plastic guides. These were super common on 60s and 70s pieces, not so much 50s, that tended to be more the wooden runners. But the point is, they're super common, they're easy to find if you happen to break one, and they do work well. They also allow the drawer to shift slightly left or right, which is super helpful in areas like Nova Scotia where there's a ton of humidity throughout parts of the year. I tend to save vintage hardware pieces even if they're broken, and this is exactly why. These pieces that the dresser came with were missing the little toggle part. There's 2 that I needed, and I had 2 toggles exactly from another set that was damaged. It looks like they were painted at one point, so I'm just going to strip the paint off and then I'm going to polish these. These are solid brass. So cleaned up, this is what these look like. Now the only thing to consider here is that brass is super soft, and the reason these toggles are likely broken is because the drawers were sticking and someone pulled so hard that it pulled the toggles out of the main part. Now that the drawer is moving freely, I don't see it being an issue, but it's just something to think about. This pencil trick is something I do fairly often when I'm sanding veneer. It's just very light pencil marks across the top, so you know exactly where you haven't sanded, and can prevent someone from sanding too much. If you're doing multiple grits, you would do this in between each grit all the way up. Some of the grain patterns on these book match veneers are just phenomenal. And there's actually a really cool sort of ripple effect in this particular veneer on the top, which you'll see in the reveal. I'm using the Odie Super Duper Everlasting Oil in dark. Now, what that means, it's not like a stain where it's going to immediately turn the wood dark. It's going to turn whatever the natural color of the wood is. What the dark does is help expedite that sort of patina aging process of the wood where it deepens in color. I really like using this on woods like cherry, walnut, mahogany, where that deep, rich look is really where it's at. One decision I had to make was what to do with these handles. I opted to leave them their natural light color. I thought it would be just a little pop of contrast where there's so much brown. But the legs, even though they're the same wood as the handles, they're not in as good a condition. You can see every leg has some patchwork on it, and that's pretty typical when they use things like toners over top of wood. So I'm going to be staining the legs brown, and of course adding some of the Odies to that as well. Now, one of the last things I have to do is to seal the drawer boxes themselves, inside and out, where I sanded everything smooth. It has to be sealed. So I'm using about a half a jar of regular Odie's oil and adding a pretty good splash of the safer solvent in there. And what that's going to do is give me a version of this that I can spread on with a brush and wipe back super easy. It's kind of similar to the Howard Feed and Wax treatment that I do, but it's an Odie's product. So I feel like it's going to work a lot better for sealing. The Feed and Wax is not really a sealant, it's more of a polish or a conditioner. Now, going back for just a second to some earlier footage, I want to talk about this bottom section that I pried off. I don't believe I need this to keep the drawers going in and out properly, but I do think this is going to give a little bit of stability to that bottom board, which does have a little bit too much flexibility for my liking. So even though it's not in this video, I am going to cut up some new inserts to put on the bottom, just to stiffen up those drawers a little bit. It's pretty crazy now looking back at what I started with. This poor little piece was literally minutes away from being gone forever, but big thank you to Lamont at Best Bins for seeing the potential in this and giving me a shout. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the reveal, and I will see you next time.